It's Tuesday, August 15th at about 8:10 in the morning, and the dogs and I have come up to the KMP trail north of White Lake Road. We're going to walk north from here a ways, probably an hour or more up, and it's cloudy, calm, and cool at 17 degrees. There were some light showers that moved through a little while ago, but they've moved on now, and I think we should have a clear time to walk for the next couple hours or so. It was around this spot about 7 or 8 years ago. I remember riding by here one evening, and there was this maniacal scream that came out of the woods down here. I don't know what it was. It was just a horrendous sounding loud scream. Didn't hear anything moving. I just stopped briefly and then took off because I wasn't sure what the heck it was. Perhaps it was a bobcat or a lynx or something. Nothing I'd ever heard before. I was a little concerned that the bugs might be bad up here this morning, given that it's overcast and humid. But so far there hasn't been really much of anything. Just the odd deer fly here and there. The late summer and fall flowers are really starting to put on a show now in the local countryside. This is a nice group of Monarda fistulosa, wild bergamot, with its pale lavender flower heads. Very pretty. This is often found on alvars, but also occurs along trail sides and open areas in the Canadian Shield area. The flies and bees love it, as do butterflies. Well, it looks like the skies are clearing up further north, so that looks good for our walk. The rain appears to have moved out for the time being. Here's a nice little clump of spotted St. John's wort, Hypericum perforatum. With all the goldenrods coming out into bloom and a lot of the late summer plants such as asters and Joe Pye weed and Spirea alba or meadowsweet, with all these plants coming into bloom now, it gives one the sense that fall is not far away, and it isn't. In addition to all the late summer and fall plants coming into bloom, today is also noticeable from another perspective, and that's the sound of silence. While there are some birds making sounds, by and large this hike has been very quiet. I think it's just the standard late summer blues coming into effect among the wildlife world. The birds no longer have that driving need to sing, to establish and defend territories, or to attract mates. They're not doing that now for the most part. A few of the species are still doing that, but the vast majority are not. Nice little group of spotted Joe Pyeweed down here in the gully. It's another one of the late summer plants coming into bloom right now in big masses sometimes. And it likes the wet soils around wetlands or ditches. Stands about 6 feet high at full height and can just form big masses with this pale mauve head. And there's some arrowhead in bloom along the edge of the wetland down there. See the large arrow-shaped leaves. Well, the deer flies are a little more numerous up at the north end here where I start going through the swamp, which is sort of to be expected, but they're still not too bad. Very nice to be able to walk up here again in relative peace anyhow. There's a couple months in the summer, late June and July, where it's really difficult to walk up here because of all the deer flies. So it's nice to be able to get back here again. It's one of my favorite walking trails when you can get it like today with few bugs and no ATVs yet after almost an hour and a half of walking, I guess. And of course the purple loosestrife is in bloom still, probably past its prime, but still fairly obvious in the wetland community. And there ahead is our destination, the Elbow Creek Bridge, about half a kilometer away still. That's probably as far as we'll go, as is typical. It's about 5.5 kilometers to that point. So overall about an 11-kilometer walk, which is enough, seeing as we have other things to do most days. Another non-native species in bloom here. This is the European frogbit, Hydrocharis morsus rani. And it basically looks like tiny little lily pads about 1 inch across. And then they have these white blooms that sit atop the lily pads in late summer. Nice red-tailed hawk soaring up here. The day is warming up nicely now. It's feeling beautiful. It was actually a little cool when I started out on this trail, but it's pleasantly warm now. Seems like yesterday I was just up here in May taking videos of the snapping turtles crossing the trail, and now we're 3 months beyond that point. Frightening how the time flies by. Here's some larger lily pads. These are the fragrant water lily, Nymphea odorata. There's still a few in bloom here with the white blooms on the water. I'll try and zoom in here a bit. There we go. So it's 9:40 in the morning now. We've been walking for about an hour and a half. So I think we'll just hang out here on the bridge for a little while, look around and see what we can see, and then head back. Just found this little snapping turtle out walking along the trail. Just gonna try and get him down into some water here. So I found a nice little creek I could get the snapping turtle down into, so that worked out well. And it's 11:35 and we're just coming up to the end of our walk here. A couple hundred more meters to go. It's a really nice walk to see the late summer plants. And look at all the different colors emerging now with yellows and greens and reds showing up, sadly.